brothers and sisters, and particularly young brothers and sisters. As you mentioned, today, late, well, no problem. Because I always say, keen, meet young people, young students. Because time always no force can stop movement of time. Always moving. Then, past, important, but just memory. Future, not yet come, but still something like space. We can move. As is sort of the present, sort of say, events, good or bad. The past, sort of, certain causes and sort of conditions which create right path. So, what we learn from that? Future also depend on present. If we handle or think, making effort with vision, with sense of responsibility about future, we can make some change for better future. If we're careless, then future, no guarantee. Therefore, I usually describe my own generation. I think my generation's companion, I think some here, whose age above 60, 70, I'm now 77. So my generation belongs to 20th century. That century already gone, disappeared in the space. It passed. So people below 30, 20, among the students, those people who below, say, 15, how many? Raise hand. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Below 15, right? Now below 20. Then below 30, few. Among the student, any who above 60, none. Of course, professors, teachers, experienced human being, age now 60, 70, like that. So therefore, the young people, these people, you truly belongs to the 21st century. Now look, 21st century. Only 12 years passed. Next, 88 years yet to come. I think in the past, Vietnam War, Korean War, and I think the civil war in China. Millions of people killed. Yeah. So that related with, very much sort of connected with Second World War. That connected with First World War. That also connected with the previous lot of war in the European continent. So the past century, the events, later part of sort of events related with events in the earlier part of that century. So that century actually become century of bloodshed, century of violence. Some historians say in 20th century, number of people who killed through violence over 200 million. So then, I think humanity, everybody loves one's own life. Basically, nobody loves violence. But sometimes circumstances become such force on human being in such violent way. So these also is cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect is own way. So the reactions, the chain reactions. So therefore, now in order to create this century, create more peaceful century, through prayer we will not achieve it. According to his religion, God very powerful, but reality, God cannot make shape of the planet. And then non-theistic religious believer like Buddhism and Jainism and also one very ancient Sangha philosophy, no concept of creator. So everything due to cause and effect, cause and effect. Even those people, one time I met some discussion with some, one part of Judaism or Jewish who follow certain sort of section of Judaism. That culture is doing because of the mysticism. Oh, you see, I remember it's one spiritual leader of one branch of Judaism, one sort of, her hat. Oh. I remember very clearly. He told me, according to his sort of theory or his sort of belief, world created by God, then shaping world by human being. So some kind of combination, God's sort of blessing and human effort. In any way, you see, in practical level, world in human hand. So whether this century can be happy century or miserable century, up to humanity, particularly those generation, this generation, who actually belongs to the 21st century. So sometimes I jokingly telling some young students when I met, the later part of 21st century, whether becoming peaceful, happy century or not, depend on you, 21st century generation, at the early part of 21st century. Now, it is your sort of kasuta, your hand. So sometimes I jokingly telling, if you, let's say, good result from your effort. That result, my generation will not see. But then I may be in heaven or hell. I will watch you. Whether the generation of the 21st century really produce good world or bad world, like that. So therefore, I always happy meet young people. You are the basis of our hope. I think presence of the situation of humanity. There are good things also there, but all quite troublesome. Firstly, huge gap between poor. In India, this country, India also, a billionaire, I think increasing number of billionaire. In the United States also, number of billionaire increasing. And look, China, billionaires multiply, right? But at the same time, millions of poor people, their day-to-day life also is difficult, under poverty. This is injustice, right? Injustice, unjust. And then, a lot of corruptions, a lot of injustice of practice. Then, in spite everywhere, people say peace, 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 but a lot of violence. National level, community level, family level. So there's something wrong. When we're born as a human being, I don't think we're born as a troublemaker. No. I believe, fundamental my belief is, basic human nature is gentleness. Because way we born, way we grown up, under tremendous sort of mother's affection, or some other sort of our friends who take our life, who can take our life. So we've grown up that way. I think students here, those students who received maximum affection in your own home, I think these students much happier. Their sort of study can be more successful. And those children in whom I'm brought, lack of affection, lot of caring, and then lack of caring, and even in the classroom, deep inside, some anxiety, some worry, some sad. So such students' brain cannot utilize fully. And health also, those people who received maximum affection in early period of life, health better. Even when we've grown up, mind, peaceful mind, health is better. Those people who materially very, very rich and very influential, very powerful, but sometimes mental level, too much stress, too much worry, because of distrust, because lack of sense of concern, others will. With that sense of care, they. With more distance, then suspicion, distrust is little. As a result, deep inside, lonely. That's very much against basic human nature. We are social animals. So from childhood up to death, person who's surrounded by good friends always feel happy. Even at the time of death, surrounded by trusted friend, the dying person at least feel happy. Person, the time of dying, person who have a lonely feeling, depressed one. I think even at the time of death, mortal. That's human nature. And then, according, the respected genuine scientists, they say, according, they also the experiment, person who often, you see, develop anger, hatred, fear. Actually, these destructive emotions actually eating our immune system. Person who mental state always calm. Very good for sustain our immune system. I think that much, according to my own experience, I can say. The now person whose age 77, over 77, but the physical condition, very good. My lifestyle, just normal, nothing special. Some Tibetan consider me or reincarnation of something very special. That's nonsense. The way I born, same way. And destructive emotion in my mind also there. Sometimes anger, jealousy. Same. But difference is my wisdom side, my brain intelligence side knows some sort of knowledge as a result of sort of study and also the result of meeting with many scientists. My intelligence, my brain, you see, guide my emotion. When some emotion about to develop, my intelligence tell, this emotion should not accept. You should remain distant. That's the way, not God's blessing, but you see the blessing of our intelligence, our awareness. And actually, the very purpose of education, I always sort of say, reduce gap between appearance and reality. And also reduce gap, short-term interest, long-term interest, right? Or better knowledge, short-term interest, long-term interest. Like animal, no education. They immediate sort of experience, they concern and also deal with immediate sort of experiences, not thinking about long future. We are human beings. We have this marvelous sort of intelligence. So we count after 1 decade, after 2 decades, and even is after next century, after 2 centuries, like that. That's because of our intelligence. So that's the way, you see, to reduce, because of the gap, reality, and appearance. Usually, when we face some good thing, attachment comes. Suppose is helping you to keep these good things. That's attachment. And about some danger, some negative, about our sort of survival or our interest, then anger comes. Animals also do that. That generally, basically, that is for survival. But then, often, we can see animals, say, they fight something, but long run very harmful. That we can see, isn't it? So that's due to the different level of intelligence. So we human beings, intelligent mammals, so we must sort of know the long-term consequences and short-term value and long-term consequences. Then we consider long-term consequences more serious. So therefore, we're not mastered because of the stress or the immediate interest, like that. So then, here one might sort of critics about existing modern education. Yes, in external material field, particularly sort of scientific sort of education, really a scientific way, science education, really sort of helping to understand the reality, reduce appearance and reality. But that mainly external matters, not our mental experience. Because existing modern education system itself oriented about material value. I think it is understandable. About 1,000 years ago, in the European continent, education institution established. At that time, moral ethics, about sort of mind, peace of mind, these things, church take care. Then, perhaps at that time, and mainly in the European continent, is it their own sort of, mainly Judeo-Christian sort of faith tradition. So they believe God. So a tremendous sort of faith, single-pointed faith to God, that brings fear of God. So some kind of discipline, not indulging some harmful activities because of the fear of God, like that. So at that time, I think more or less, more balanced. Then century passed, particularly science and technology developed. Then influence of the church, some cases decline. So then the education system, which developed at the time, moral ethics, fully taken care by church and quite effectively. So that system now not adequate. So education itself now should teach us the inner value in order to become happier human being, more compassionate human being, more sensible human being, combine human intelligence and warm-heartedness, these two combined. That way, that's, I think, very important factor to create peaceful family, peaceful community, peaceful society, through that way, peaceful humanity. So, and that, now in modern time, I always stress, religion, where is the religious tradition? Wonderful. Serving humanity, not only in the past, but even today, and the future also. I think millions of people get tremendous of benefit from these various different religious traditions. However, quite a big portion of humanity, not much interest about religion. So those people, a danger is those people who have no interest about religion, they also, neglect about the value of compassion, love, compassion, forgiveness, these things, because they consider these are religious matters. So since no interest about religion, then they also see no interest about these things. That's mistake. So my approach, sense of concern of others' well-being, affection, these are biological factors. Our life very much involved right from the beginning about these things. Look, mother, no affection, then children. Very difficult to survive. Even animals, dogs, cats, birds, biological factor, the parent, particularly mother, take full care about their youngster. Through that way, they survive. But once that affection not there, they will die. So that's human nature. Mammals, some species of mammal like that. Their whole survival depend on, particularly at early age, entirely depend on others' affection. But that experience is very, very important experience. Now say, according to some scientists, after birth, the next few weeks, simply mother's physical touch is very crucial factor for proper development of their brain. At that time, the child do not know who is that person. But biologically, immediately you see, depend on that person. Everybody notices those young cats, or baby cats, or baby birds, maybe also dogs. I also notice, you see some sort of young one, even the eye not yet is open. I noticed when I was in Lhasa, I noticed some. You see, just they cannot see, but with smell, and then as soon as the mother's, what do you call that? That small one, which usually is milk come, what called? Nipple. The baby, see, sick, and then as soon as that small thing, you see, reach in their mouth, peaceful, very happy, enjoy sucking milk. That's the human nature. Not come from religious sort of teaching, isn't it? So our life used to start that way. So therefore, whole our life, person who's surrounded by affection, that person much happier. More happier, more successful. Short temper, always suspect, always distrust. Such person, very difficult to be successful. So therefore, there's no point neglect about these basic human values. Whether accept religion or not, that's up to individual. We witness some non-believer, even some anti-religious people, wonderful people, warm-hearted person, sensible person, we will see. We can see. If you have religious belief, very good. But if you're not, doesn't matter. But these moral principle, moral value, so long we are human being, we must, because of that, cherish these values. This immense benefit to yourself and also benefit to others. So therefore, in order to build happy world, happy humanity, happy century, please, this generation who belongs to the 21st century, please pay more attention about these values. Okay. Do you agree? Or you have further argument? You consider money is more important than basic human value. I think some believe that. you really believe that, then okay, go ahead. Just think money and eventually become slave of money. You won't get genuine or peace here. Too much anxiety, isn't it? Too much stress. And that automatically brings too much lie, too much hypocrisy. As a result, you isolate from the rest of the community. Then you feel lonely. Lonely brings depression. Then ultimate answer is drug or suicide. About the young people, anyone who want to suicide, you really feel frustrated your own life or your life? No, certainly not. Therefore, in order to lead meaningful life, happy life, you must pay some attention about our inner value. Modern education, which oriented materialistic way, material values, we must acquire these things. Meantime, think more about our inner value. But that I want to tell you. That also I usually call secular ethics. Secular ethics, the way of promoting that also secular way, not based on religious faith. Those students, young students, who feel some sense, raise hand. Oh, not many. Okay. Then my generation, now our century already passed. So whether you, even you do not agree these things, do not sort of pay much attention. It doesn't matter. Another 10 years or 2 years, then you will go. Thank you. Now some questions.
Your Holiness, where do you think science and spirituality intersect?
I think, broadly speaking, both serving humanity. Religion also, you see, use different philosophical views, different methods, but basic aim is to create sensible human being, happy human being. Science also is to fulfill our desire, our requirement. So basically, broadly speaking, both serving humanity.
Thank you, sir.
Then perhaps, I think, further goes ancient Indian spirituality, where the practice of samadhi and vipassana, I think you know, vipassana and samadhi, these practices there, then automatically, you see, these are training of our mind. So automatically, more sort of explanation about mind, how to fix single point of mind, and what is the obstacle for that, and what is the counterforce about these sort of distractions or these things. So therefore, the ancient Indian spirituality, Hindus, different Hinduism and Jainism and Buddhism, you see, much talk about the mind, about emotion. Whereas those who do theistic, mainly theistic religion, they emphasize Creator, God, single sort of pointed faith, God. So that also is a similar effect. Like Buddhism, in order to reduce self-centered attitude, Buddhism talks about selflessness. And then also say altruism. That's Buddhist way of approach. Other religions, like theistic religion, like Christianity or Islam Judaism, single point of faith towards God reduces self-centered arrogance. You simply so that dedicate, submit totally to God. That reduces self. A similar effect. Then, of course, all major religious traditions, the emphasis importance of practice of love, compassion. One my Muslim sort of friend, he publicly told any genuine practitioner of Islam must extend love towards entire Allah's creature. Like that. So, say, Buddhists say, all sentient beings must stand out love and compassion. Like that. So further. So therefore, the ancient Indian tradition, where practice of single-pointed mind and investigation,
critical analysis.
Such practice there is naturally more explanation about mind, about emotion. Therefore, now number of modern scientists, especially in the field of brain specialists and also the medical sort of scientists, now more and more scientists now showing interest about explanation, about emotion, about mind in these ancient sort of tradition, and including Buddhism. So therefore, there, particularly Buddhism. Now I'm not propagating Buddhism, but the fact is, Buddha state, "Oh, my follower should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So that's quite similar scientifically, not basically accept belief, but investigation and experiment. So therefore, Buddhism in general, particularly Nalanda tradition, investigation, experiment, consider very, very important. So therefore, a scientific way of approach and Nalanda sort of tradition way of approach, very simple, not blindly, except only through thorough investigation. So quite similar sort of way. And both feel it is important to remain skepticism. Skeptical attitude brings passion. Passion brings investigation. Investigation brings answer. Yeah. So some connection. Next.
Your Holiness, you've been an inspiration to millions of people all around the world, and your wise words have helped us get through difficult times. But where does Your Holiness draw inspiration and strength from?
When I heard the Nobel Committee announces in my name, I think October that year. At that time I was in near Los Angeles, some sort of meeting with some scientists, some discussion. So then, a lot of media people came ask me about my comment. Then I stated, I feel, I myself, just a simple Buddhist monk, this sort of Nobel or Peace Prize, makes not much differences. I'm a simple Buddhist monk, no more, no less. But I consider this sort of prize is some kind of acknowledgement about my sincere sort of service or effort to peace or better human being. Then at that time, I also used to express, actually, this this prize actually, you see, goes to Buddha and many ancient Buddhist masters who teach us, who show us peaceful mind, compassionate mind, infinite altruism, combined with wisdom, not just faith. So actually, you see, the peace prize actually should go to these great masters. So, I'm as for the simple Buddhist monk. As you mentioned, around 6-7 years age, I start study those we call root texts, which wrote by Nalanda masters. I already started learn by heart. No knowledge, no interest, no enthusiasm. I really feel study these things are really burden. When time about my teacher coming, I feel. Then, as soon as finish that lesson, I always jump to my mother's house. Like that. But eventually, I realized, these marvelous, great Indian thinkers. I think I want to share with you the once I say Raja Ramana, one Indian nuclear physicist. His nickname, some people say, India's Sakharov, is who helped to build in India's nuclear technology or the knowledge. So once, you see, in Delhi, once there was there, something like interfaith sort of meeting. He also there. Then he told me he found one Nagarjuna's writing. He found the concept of quantum theory, quantum physics. He found in Nagarjuna's writing. That writing, 2,000 years ago. So he, as an Indian, he really feels proud. The quantum physics in modern science recently is found, isn't it? 19th century. I think 19th century. 20th century. Einstein did this, great scientist, great thinker. So he told me, in this country, the ancient Indian great thinker already found the concept of quantum physics 2,000 years. So like that. So therefore, I think, okay. Those in real great thinkers, Indian thinkers, and particularly Southern India. All these great masters of Nalanda, most of them come from South India, not North India. So perhaps I can, maybe South Indian brain is something very special. I don't know. In any way, you see, I think compare the Egyptian civilization, Chinese civilization, then Indus Valley civilization, eventually the Indian sort of civilization. I think among these three, as far as sort of philosophy, thinkers, like Chinese thinkers, I think mainly people how to bring the society more orderly and the more sort of the humility. Huh? Egyptian civilization. One time I met one professor of Egyptian University, Alexandria or something. Of course, no sufficient time. Short meeting. He mentioned the ancient Egyptian civilization. Also, you see, talking about some deeper sort of reality. But I'm not sure. So at least the things I think India's civilization is I think among the world civilization who really concern or investigate very deep level of reality. Mind, matter. So these are truly the source of my inspiration. And then modern time, Mahatma Gandhi, wonderful. Then also, Mahatma Gandhi I never met, only I heard. But the Rajendra Prasad, the first Indian president, when I came to India, 1956, Buddha Jayanti celebration, he was president in India, in the Rajabhavan. So, wonderful person. Great lawyer, my God. I think lawyer, isn't it? He studied law, I think. Isn't it? Huh? And anyway, I think he's member of the committee who brought India's constitution. And as a president, very simple or very humble. Very humble. Wonderful. And then, of course, in certain fields, Gandhi, Nehru, all immense. Tibet, after 59, when we developed. Thank you.
Your Holiness, what does Your Holiness suggest that we as students and as you said, citizens of the 21st century, do to contribute to world peace?
World peace. Sometimes I also feel world peace is very important. One single person. How can you? Then you feel that. But then think, peace, other hand, violence, no peace, it's violence. Who created? We human beings. Occasionally some major disaster. That also some kind of violence. That's beyond our control. But most of the violence, humanity, human beings create. So logically, the other side, peace also we should create. Then humanity, now today, over 7 billion. 7 billion at once, you see, start work for peace. But initiative must come from human ourselves. So initiative ultimately comes from individual. So you, as an individual, I also feel that way. I'm an individual person. But try to develop inner peace. Then share with more friends. You also can do that. Although you cannot compete me. But still, I think I belong 20th century. So after me gone, you then you should carry full responsibility. So therefore, first you should realize each individual has to be responsible in order to change human thinking, in order to bring peaceful humanity. First, you yourself with this vision and create inner peace, and through that way, at least 10 people, your friend. I think including your girlfriend, if you have. Through that way, you see 10 people, then each 10 people, each is 10 person, they also have another 10. So that means 100. Through that way, multiply. That way, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. That's the way the change. I think modern education and also all these different religious traditions, when Buddha first give teaching, only 5%. Then multiply that. So that's the human sort of human change or human movement, like that. So you should not think, I cannot do. You should not think. First, develop awareness. On the basis of awareness, then vision, then determination, willpower, then make constant, tireless effort. 10 years, 20 years, 30, 40, 50 years. Then your time comes, can give on next life. Okay, thank you.
Your Holiness, I just wanted to ask, what should one do when there's always darkness all around, or there's misery surrounding a person, and there's no one can find a true light or a guiding light to lead one in the right direction?
I don't think that's right view. Think world, global level. I think between early part of 20th century and later part of 20th century, much positive development took place. That I witnessed. 1950s, 60s, even 70s, I think danger of nuclear war. I think really there. And then many people feel ultimately war cannot avoid. Ultimate decision must rely on use force. Therefore, East Bloc, Western Bloc, both spent billions of dollars built military armament. That gradually changed. 80s, 90s, that much changed. Then I think the desire for peace. First World War, Second World War, even I think Korean War, I think when nation start war with other nation, I think the citizen of that nation, without any question, happily, proudly join war effort. Now that, after or during Vietnam War, that changed. Say, beginning of this 21st century, the Kosovo War, and also the Iraq is the war. About is it that start? How many millions of people? I think many millions of people come out against violence, use violence. So these are this sort of the indication of human thinking becoming more mature. Then also, as I briefly mentioned, in the past, science and spirituality is two separate worlds. Now, quantum physics and some very, very sophisticated, deep sophisticated scientific research, then they found a close link, matters and mind, which Buddhist mathematical philosophy, I think more than 2,000 years, already you see explain this. So therefore, now science, scientific researchers also is showing more and more interest about mind, about spirituality. And many people, I say those countries materially highly developed, in these countries, among the billionaires, more and more, now they found limitation of material value. So you see some people now showing interest about inner value. And scientists also now not only carry investigation about matters, but also investigation about mind. As a sort of experiment, already found sheer sort of meditation, sort of work, meditation, that sort of training of mind, sheer training of mind actually affect our brain, some brain cell change, and sometimes
They talk about the neuroplasticity.
that actually, you see, through training of mind, through some sort of some kind of sort of meditation or training of mind, actually affect brain or physics. So these are sort of new phenomena. So this really shows, and then ecological knowledge or concern about ecology. In early part of the 20th century, nobody talked about ecology. The later part of the 20th century, not only talking about ecology, but also the political party which based on ecology issue, the Green Party. Sometimes I jokingly expressing, if I join a political party, I will join the Green Party. But unfortunately now, some of the Green Party also now power hungry or power hungry, forgetting the original sort of principle, like that. So please don't think world becoming worse or more foolish. Don't think that. I think at least I'm older than you. I observed this positive change. So therefore, you should think, world becoming better. Still depend on our own effort. I think your feeling is very good. If you feel everything is okay, then no possibility to develop some kind of new ideas there, or desire to do some new things, discontent existing sort of situation. Right. Or you're sort of thinking, some sort of feel lot of sort of frustration. Then that should use so that source of your determination. Those people who do not see faults, then they never make sort of effort. Only those people who see some faults about existing situation, these people will carry initiative and will sort of carry more investigation. How to overcome these problems. So one way you see your sort of little sort of frustration feeling well is good. One way, this should not sort of become demoralized. Clear? Okay, next question.
Does Your Holiness believe in destiny? If yes, then how do you suggest we learn to differentiate when to live in God's will and silently go through our sufferings, and when to act against it and try our best to change the situation?
Destination, I think, answer for that question, both yes and no. Yes means, tomorrow's my program, return to Dhamsara. That's destination, more or less fixed. And according to today's my health condition, I think the next 10, 20 years, maybe 30 years, that also roughly some kind of. But now, for example, we already conduct one aeroplane, special charter from Darjeeling to Assam, to Dhamsara. But if tomorrow some very bad weather comes, or I got some emergency sickness come, still possibility of cancer or post. So destination, yeah, but not fixed 100%. Clear. So, world, as I mentioned earlier, due to our past negligence or past mistake, certain destination, yeah. But again, if humanity make new effort or tireless effort with new vision, we can change that destiny like that. So therefore, both yes and yes and no both. That particularly so, those I think are Indian friends and also Buddhist friends, Tibetan friends. Sometimes we this is not right. This is Tibetan medicine. Medicine for some problem is the knee. Like that. So sometimes we both Indian, Hindus, and also Buddhists, we usually believe karma, law of karma. So sometimes you see, that sort of belief or that theory sometimes makes us lazy, not doing, not making any effort. Oh, my karma. So something already fixed, so I cannot do anything. That kind of karma theory sometimes you see teach us laziness. That's wrong. Karma means action. So events come from action. So therefore, your past mistake action creates some sort of negative fruit about to come. But you take new sort of initiative, right? New action, which is stronger than the previous negative action, then that action becomes neutralized. And eventually disappears. So therefore, everything depends on our own hand. So karma theory, instead of teach us laziness, but should use sense of responsibility, sense of always possible change, always possible. Bad things can change, possible. Clear? Okay. Next question now.
Your Holiness, how, according to you, can true peace of mind be achieved? Is it more through intellect, or is it more perception that one can truly achieve peace?
intelligence. Usually, I'm Buddhist. Perhaps I can say I'm Buddhist. At the same time, very, very critical about existing way of Buddhist practice among Tibetans and among sort of many Buddhists. I mean, the popular level of sort of Buddhism, just some kind of ritual, and some kind of ceremony. Many sort of Hindus also, you see, just recite some Sanskrit shloka, Sanskrit sort of word, without knowing the meaning. Sometimes I jokingly telling my Indian friend, is in many cases, you see, the Indians, generally speaking, very religious mind. So each family, I think some statue of Ganesh or statue of Shivaji, and like that, or Saraswati, like that. So each morning, recite some Sanskrit shloka and some incense bread and some flour. But then do not know, without knowing the real meaning, and not much serious. So rest of the day, you indulge corruption and injustice or everything these things. If you are really believer, really believer, oh God, or Shivaji or these things, then you must be honest. Right. So we Tibetan also, you see, sometimes, you see, some religious people, suppose they are following religious sort of practice, but too much sectarian. What that? Too much attachment. And attachment develop biased view. That brought sectarian among Buddhists. I found. I recently visited Ladakh. Many sectarians are sitting as well. Activity. These are not the genuine Buddhist practice. I am very, very critical existing the popular way of Buddhism. So then I usually used to tell people, and true Nalanda sort of tradition is, usually I sort of introduce, Buddhist sort of practice is utilize human intelligence maximum way through investigation, through experiment, use human intelligence maximum way. Through that way, transform our emotion. So, as I briefly mentioned, I'm human being. Destructive emotion also there, but I use my intelligence. Discriminate some of the emotion. Temporarily, may be good, but long run, very harmful. Knowing that and deliberately try to minimize. And positive sort of emotion, something useful, then deliberately try to increase. So emotion, the intelligence, the practitioner, intelligence is the way of Kasoda. I think the intelligence, another word we can say wisdom. That is something like our eye. Then, first, through eye, to see the destination or the goal or place. Then, physical movement. So similarly, physical movement is the transformation of emotion. Eye, seeing the destination where the ultimate sort of most happiest sort of destination. Then that's the responsibility of wisdom. Actually, like movement, that's the transformation of our emotion. So these two things always go together. Clear? Some sense? Good?
Your Holiness, your entire life is dedicated in spreading spiritual news all over the world, but some people cannot be involved in this work all the time. So how much time a person should spend on these spiritual activities?
First of all, I think all daily life, you spend most of the time, you see, actually it is for study. So when you start studying, you must develop some kind of mental attitude. I study, the purpose of my study is firstly my own meaningful life. Meaningful means your life, something good for others. Your life becoming like troublemaker for others, then meaningless. Then better to shorten life. Or then perhaps I think less education, then less danger, isn't it? I think those say, you see, those who are terrorists, like I think was it the September 11th sort of event, those people who planned these things, as far as brain is concerned, very smart. Such sort of dangerous sort of work, not just to say so that plan within few hours or few weeks. I think months, and with top secrecy, and every step carefully. Isn't it? Foolish people we can never do that. So therefore, your daily life study should be clear aim. Is a study meant for good life, meaningful life. That means something serving other people, including world peace. How to develop, as I already initiative of one India. Then when you the mealtime eating, you can share your own sort of experience and some sort of discuss how to develop the inner peace and what should be our aim. Right? I think your classmate, nobody say you study well and then eventually you should be terrorist. I think nobody say. Isn't it? So human nature is like that. Unless this is some desperate sort of situation, that also our own creation. So we must make effort. It should not develop that kind of. So you, what is your age? What? Is that? 13. 13. No. I think my own case, when my age is 13, I consider more importance of play rather than study. I think you look more serious about study. So wonderful. So you're thinking already advanced than me at that age. Very good. So think more serious. And with this, you see, your glass, you see, supposed to see long distance. Thank you. Thank you.
Your Holiness, I would be grateful if you could please help me understand the meaning of inner peace.
Inner peace is inner peace. So, it's a person who, suppose apparently relax on their own home. and some beds and some good furniture and television or something like that. These models of business and also friends, it's not. But often size,
Sigh, you take long sigh.
while you are talking to your friend, and quite often, like that, such person physically looks relaxed, but mentally, some kind of problem, some kind of too much stress or worry. So peace of mind means not much that kind of sort of mental experience. Physically relaxed. At the same time, mind also completely relaxed. Completely relaxed mental level does not mean you remain dull or you become something as a robot, no feeling. No. Full intelligence, fully alert mind, knows. But then you see one bad sort of events. If you look itself, more frustration. But same event, look from wider perspective, then you also may see some positive thing. Once you see that thing, then our mind becomes more balanced, more realistic. Oh, this is very bad, but at the same time some positive things there. And this bad sort of, also the event may bring some good sort of good sort of opportunity, like that. At least when you face some problem, you look at that problem and instead of demoralize, develop more willpower. Then that challenge actually help positive effect on your inner strength. More determination, more inner strength, more self-confidence automatically bring inner strength, inner peace. That reduce fear, that reduce anxiety. So no matter what sort of complicated situation, you can keep your mind calm. So then eventually once you familiarize these things, then physically maybe so good, because of that little sort of tiring, busy, but always your mind can relax. Yeah. So that's meaning of peace. And peace, not just the word, but experience. So that also just one absolute independence. Like you see there, many minds, many thoughts interconnected. Therefore, I often tell you, in order to develop genuine peace of mind and compassion, at least we should some knowledge. Again, I'm not prejudicing on Buddhism or propagating Buddhism. But you see, the quite useful information about psychology. Buddhist psychology is very rich. So Buddhist psychology, not part of religion, but should take as an academic subject. I think should follow. That's what that should study. Actually, we are working with cooperation, some professors in some Delhi universities, and also some scientists. Now we already started working on how to introduce in modern education, secular education, secular ethics. And for part of that, some lesson study about map of mind, map of knowing about that, then much easier than you like that. So your question is very good, but that's, you see, it's also law cause positive. So we have to deal with these troublemaker in our mind, in our emotion. Know that, with fuller knowledge about that, then firstly, we have to tackle, we have to deal with causes of disturbance. That automatically brings peace of. Okay. Thank you.